focus over to the defense now. For starters, Coach, we talked about how abnormal and unusual kind of that high-tempo offense was for Central Missouri a week ago. But this Fort Hays State unit, no joke either. This was almost night and day for the defense, though. Overall, how would you describe your defense's performance on Saturday?
Yeah, no, very pleased. I think there were 3 plays I wish I had back. Obviously, one went for 60, and the others were big gains as well. But no, I was pleased with our effort. I thought our guys flew to the ball. I think our guys rallied. Hats off to Coach Patasso. He really challenged those guys last week. We just got blocked up. We struggled to get off blocks, and so the challenge was like, hey, get off of blocks and go make a play, and some guys did that yesterday.
And speaking of making some plays, there was 4 tackles for loss by the defense, 2 of those being sacks, 3 QB hurries, 1 forced fumble that was recovered by the Lions. Going into this matchup, was there a bit more of an emphasis on generating pressure at the line of scrimmage, or what was the game plan there?
Yeah, really the game plan was, again, number one thing we want to do is we want to eliminate explosives. Like that, it's when an offense can just get it in big chunks, it makes it too easy for them, which is what happened to us last Saturday. Then the next thing was, again, we just wanted to tackle better, and part of tackling better was just being able to never be in a one-on-one tackle situation. So you always had one guy coming from the outside, another guy coming from the inside, whether it be on a pass rush, whether it be on a ball carrier in the flat. We want to swarm and just be a presence everywhere the ball was.
Absolutely. And we'll see some of those swarms. Let's hop into some highlights and a couple lowlights from the defense's outing on Saturday. You mentioned limiting the big plays, Coach. A big positive for the defense in this one. Fort Hays State managed only 125 passing yards. Really no big plays through the air. Their longest pass of the game was only 20 yards. And the Lions also had 3 pass breakups in this one. What was really clicking for the secondary to stop the pass and limit those explosive plays that you mentioned?
Yeah, we felt like the quarterback was a really good player. But, like similar to most quarterbacks, when they know what you're in, life is easy. And so we wanted to change up the picture. We wanted to give him some different looks. Probably played more man this weekend than we have in a long time. And again, we just to change the picture up for him and force him to make adjustments in game.
Definitely. And kind of on the contrary to that, Fort Hays did have some success in the run game with 254 rushing yards on 6.5 yards per carry. We talked about the pressure and the passing downs with those 2 sacks, 3 QB hurries. How can you maybe translate that success from the front 7 in those passing downs to now shutting down the run moving forward?
Yeah, I think, you had the long one, which really skews the average. Mm-hmm. You had the one long run. Then the other chunk from that 254 was a lot of the quarterback. He scrambled for a touchdown for, I think that was about an 18-yard gain. So I thought that we got to do a better job. You're exactly right, keeping a cap on it and just forcing them to get back to their passing game instead of giving up some of the easy runs.
Absolutely. And, last week we talked about Zach Bergman, his presence at linebacker and kind of what he brings to the table. This was the 2nd straight game, though, without Colton Bass in the rotation. How does his absence kind of affect this unit as a whole right now?
Yeah, Colton's a savvy player. I mean, he's played 4 years. When you add the amount of experience between Zach and Colton when they're in the game together, like that's a really dangerous tandem. And we're waiting on Bass to come back, but we want him to be healthy. He's on the sideline. He's coaching the younger guys. He's keeping stats for me. But yeah, you lose a lot of experience when you lose Bass.
Absolutely. I'm sure that senior leadership, though, is still shining through on the sidelines for now, right now. All right, even in his absence, though, still had some big playmakers in this one. Let's take a look at some of the numbers behind the defense's performance. R.J. Hill led the way for the Lions with a team-high 7 total tackles in this one. It's actually the first game that Bergman hasn't led the team in tackles. Nigel Vaughn had 6 in this one, along with that forced fumble we were talking about. As a team, Missouri Southern had 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups as well. Overall, Southern held Fort Hays State to 379 total yards of offense. So overall, some significant improvements from last week to this one for the defense in particular. We're going to head to a quick break right now, but when we come back, Coach Bradley and myself will wrap things up with a look ahead to next week's matchup against the Emporia State Hornets. Stay tuned.